Does Matheus Cunha to Manchester United make sense? Today, we're going to be answering that question. It feels almost too good to be true. Of course, if you are new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video. But anyway, let's get this party started. So Manchester United have struggled this season for form, for consistency, for goals, for a lot of things that Matheus Cunha has brought to Wolverhampton Wanderers. So before we dive into answering the question, let's start to understand Matheus Cunha as a player and what he'll bring to Manchester United. So I think the first thing when looking into these types of transfers is, does Matheus Cunha fit into Amrin's 3-4-3? Well, the first answer there is absolutely yes. Vitor Pereira has done a brilliant job at Wolves since taking charge of the football club, steering them to clear position in safety, and they've got one of the best forms in the Premier League right now. He sets Wolves up in a 3-4-2-1, exactly the same system that Ruben Amorim plays at Manchester United. Matheus Cunha, of course, operates as the left number 10, the left attacking midfielder. Cunha very much is an inside player. He's not a player that's going to hold the touchline, stretch the pitch, and want to receive the ball out in the wide areas and take his opponent on. Very much what you see Wolves do when they win the ball back, of course, Aït-Nouri to provide the width at left wing back, and Cunha very much to operate in this attacking midfield position. So first and foremost, absolutely, Matheus Cunha works from a tactical perspective. The systems are very close to Ruben Amorim's at Manchester United. So already I like this transfer based from a tactical perspective. But let's look at player profile. As we mentioned, he's playing this left attacking midfield role. I describe his role as very much a dribbling attacking midfielder. A player that likes to get on the ball, get himself turned, and look to evade pressure from either the midfield or the defenders. He's a player that adds momentum to attacks. He can change the tempo based on where he's received and where he's going to kind of move the ball. He combines agility with acceleration to become a really dangerous dribbler. He's got good quick feet. He likes to step over. He likes to move the opponents and can finish off both feet. In terms of that dribbling thing, that's something that Manchester United have really struggled with. Players that can carry either in between the lines or drive United up the pitch, especially from build-up. But Matheus Cunha is that dribbler. When you look at his statistics this season, he's completed 55 dribbles in the Premier League. That is twice as many as every other Manchester United players managed apart from Amad Diallo. Giving that ability to beat tackles is something Man United just struggle with. That's to beat low blocks, that's to play out of pressure, all a host of things that Matheus Cunha has done in the Premier League. That is a key thing here. Manchester United need to start getting players that are Premier League proven. That's where the squad is right now. Yes, I do love a signing from abroad. The Bundesliga, Liga, I love all that type of business. I like finding those unique talents and bringing them to the Premier League. But United right now need to almost go back. And they need to build their squad. They need the key players of their squad to be assembled with Premier League proven talents. The likes of Bryan Mbeumo would be a fantastic signing for Manchester United because he's done it in the Premier League and he's scored a load of goals, similar to Matheus Cunha. But going back to that dribble idea, Matheus Cunha's shot creating actions following a dribble would rank him 4th in the Premier League since the start of last season. He makes things happen in the final third. And why are those dribble stats important? Well, it's important to the system. The 10s have got to be able to beat people. The wing-backs have got to be able to beat people. And Manchester United this season ranked 18th in the Premier League for dribbles completed. It has been a tough year. And that's one thing that I would rather see Man United do. Take people on, make things happen following dribbles, and they are just not doing it. So moving forward, what are the other things that I like about Matheus Cunha? Well, very much he is a Zone 14 player. So Zone 14 was a term coined in the early 2000s, late 1990s. The area just outside the box, and this is where I absolutely love Matheus Cunha. I think he provides a lot of different threats. Number one, he's a threat from range, a good ability to strike the ball from range and put it into the opponent's goal, as we mentioned. He's got that ability on the dribble to take defenders 1v1 and beat them in those situations to create chances. But also from a passing perspective, he's really cute with some of his passes. He's got really good vision in those areas. And if we look at the goals scored, which I think is a really important thing for this Man United team right now, only 6 players have scored more non-penalty goals than Matheus Cunha. He's scoring goals in a Wolves team that has been pretty atrocious before Vitor Pereira took charge. That is something that you want to look at. Man United are buying the best player of a team in the Premier League. This is why it's quite exciting. But again, we combine that ability to create things we mentioned there, the long-range shooting, the cute passes, the dribbles to beat the opponents to create something, but also got very good ability to receive the ball in these areas, got a very good first touch, and combining that, what I like about him is kind of his back to goal play. Let's say if the number 6 is on his back, who's dropped a little bit deeper to deal with his forward motion, I really like his strength. He's quite a wiry player, but deceptively strong, which means in the Premier League, you're going to be dealing with that problem. And that again is another reason why it makes sense. Strength is a big thing in the Premier League. United lack physicality, they lack pace. That's two things that Matheus Cunha could add to United. Tactically very intelligent, with a very good passing range as well once he's got himself turned. You know, he's got all we mentioned before, the cute passes, also got the kind of switches of play to involve the wing-backs. Again, a similar system that Man United play. Big positives. So the first thing that Matheus Cunha would bring to Manchester United is the basic thing in football. That is goals scored. United rank 15th in the Premier League for goals scored. They're not dribbling, they're not scoring, they're not creating opportunities. Cunha could provide a spark that Manchester United need. So one of the big things we mentioned previously is the system. The Wolves system that they've been playing this season under Vitor Pereira is the same system that Ruben Amorim plays. This means the role is going to be similar. It's going to be easy to integrate a player in like Matheus Cunha. And given the fact that Bruno Fernandes is now that kind of deep line roaming playmaker, getting a player that can play left number 10 is vitally important to add goals to Manchester United's team. So when we look at goal scoring, I'm going to break it down in two aspects. Number one, creating opportunities, which Manchester United just simply don't do enough, but also taking their chances has been a massive thing for Manchester United. You even look at the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Man United created 3 big opportunities through Alejandro Garnacho and scored 0 goals again. How many times have we spoke about this? But if we look at the data, it is horrendous. Only Crystal Palace and Bournemouth have underperformed their expected goals more than Man United. This is a humongous problem. In and around the penalty area, scoring goals has been a humongous issue for Manchester United, and that could be fixed by Matheus Cunha. And when we look at his numbers, only Phil Foden has overperformed his non-penalty expected goals since the start of last season than Matheus Cunha. He blows away every Manchester United player apart from Amad Diallo, and we all know how Amad Diallo carried United before his injury. And that idea of finishing off moves and scoring goals is so important to win football games. It's as simple as that. But what I also like about it is that threat from range we previously spoke about. Players that overperform their expected goals, usually they'll be good finishers, but also they'll be threats from range, hence why Phil Foden is number 1 in this list. And I tell you what, you know, I like to bring examples onto the channel. This is one of my favourite goals of the season, Matheus Cunha versus Southampton. I don't know if you know, but I am a big fan of Matheus Cunha. I'm honestly shocked that Man United could get this business done. So pick up the play with Wolves defending. So one of the things United lack a little bit is a threat on the counter-attack, and it's a consistent threat that will make the right decisions. But as the play moves forward, Wolves win the ball back and instantly go forward. You can see Matheus Cunha in almost like a striking position in the 3-5-2. We've seen United defend in certain games like this, but this gives you a player higher up that can not only be ready to receive and make the right decision, but the threat from range is here, which means teams will start to having to defend differently against Matheus Cunha if you were signed for Manchester United. But just notice what Matheus Cunha does here. So number 1, he's communicating with his teammates, his arms are out, drops off the line, a really good first touch, gets his head up, spots the keeper slightly off his line, and then the execution is brilliant. The strike from range into the left corner is fantastic. This is a big thing for Manchester United. Having players that are capable of shooting from range, it changes the dynamic when you're playing the opponents, because you simply can't stand off someone like Matheus Cunha, which consequently opens up space in different areas of the pitch. But if we move forward, where else do Manchester United need to improve? Well, I think one of the biggest concerns with Manchester United at certain times is when teams press them high and they're trying to play out from the back. You know, teams just jump on United, they squeeze high, and United really struggle playing out from those situations. And a lot of it comes down to not overloading the opponents. You know, the split from the front three to the back three is too big. One thing that Matheus Cunha likes to do is drop deep and get on the ball. This is an important thing for Manchester United's build-up because you're overloading the opponents. We've got the opposition at the moment set up in a kind of man-to-man scheme, which many teams do to United in the league. They press in a way, they squeeze Manchester United. But just having Matheus Cunha dropping into that deeper area and deeper position means that you're going to be creating overloads in certain areas. We're talking kind of either a 3v2 in this area if the number 9 goes to press, or alternatively, let's say that number 4 jumps with, you've got further space higher up the pitch. Again, a good thing for Manchester United. When you look at Matheus Cunha's statistics from a progression perspective, so we're talking, progressing the ball up the pitch, dropping deep, getting onto the ball in these kind of deep areas, let's say after the left centre-back's got possession. But he ranks really well for progressive passes, 119 in the Premier League this season, which would rank him second in the United squad. But as well, he's got the duality. When you look at progressive passes received, he's second for Wolves this season. So not only is he progressing the ball, but he is a target for progressive passes. This is how United start to beat these blocks and allow them to have situations where you get these pseudo counter-attacks at the high end of the pitch. This is what United want to create with their possession. Yes, at times it's slow out of the back. It's supposed to be slow, to draw the opponents in and then play through. The issue is Man United have one player that can progress the play at a consistent level in Bruno Fernandes, and they don't have enough targets higher up the pitch. Garnacho is a good target, but Rasmus Højlund doesn't receive the ball into feet enough. Joshua Zirkzee is a bit better, but having someone like Matheus Cunha really helps. And I think when we build that further forward in terms of the idea of Cunha getting on the ball in these deep areas, let's say he's received the progressive pass, he's a player that kind of will play a pass and then get on the move. So let's say he finds Rasmus Højlund, he'll move to receive the ball again. He likes to be involved in that playmaking idea in football. This is a great example against Liverpool in the Premier League. So we pick up the play with Matheus Cunha almost in a left central midfield position. What I like about him is he's involved in this move throughout, and I'll tell you what, the end is something special. So Matheus Cunha moving off the line, getting into a little bit of space in front of the Liverpool midfield. I like the idea that he'll improve Manchester United's possession play by his roaming, his ability to play make. So he picks up the play with a ball into his feet from Andre. Good first touch, there's pressure on his back, holds it off well. So we mentioned before, he is deceptively strong and suited to the Premier League. So the ball goes back and once again he's on the move, this time trying to find a little pocket of space in between the lines. But we can see that playmaking side doesn't just come down to getting on the ball and dictating. It's organising your teammates. It's pointing to your teammate to allow them. That's the pass that Andre needs to make. Dropped into Bellegarde, then it goes inside. From this position, once again, a good first touch. Getting himself out of the pressure before, once again, his head up is orientated towards the goal. Pressure comes in from McAllister, simply dribbles past him like he's not even there, and then he looks for the through ball. Again, something that United lack in the final third is a little bit of a spark. This time it doesn't quite come off, and is well defended by Liverpool, who escape. But Wolves jump on, they squeeze the play, and they win it back through Andre. Andre then works the ball wide to Nelson Semedo, but just keep your eyes on Matheus Cunha. He's going to wander into a little pocket of space in the final third. As Nelson Semedo checks out and checks in, the space has now appeared. We see a little bit of a flick from Bellegarde, and then this is absolutely brilliant. The first touch with the sole of his foot, something like Ryan Shirky. If you've watched that video, go and check that one out. Another attacking player that could add creativity to United's attack, but good using his sole of his foot allows him instantly to attack the defence. He does Ryan Gravenberch with a shot feint, completely sells the Liverpool defensive midfielder, and then the finish on his weaker left foot is brilliant into the bottom corner. And that is something that Matheus Cunha could add to Manchester United. The playmaking from deep, but then the real quality in the final third to absolutely destroy Ryan Gravenberch. So we've spoken about the interplay and that ability to pass and then to move and receive in between the lines, but let's go back to that idea we spoke about right at the start of the video. Zone 14 is an area that I really like Matheus Cunha to play in. This area just outside the box. Again, the quality is there. Not only, as we mentioned, the 3 examples before, but also for on-rushing midfielders. So for Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes has played this kind of roaming playmaker role, where he's moving into advanced areas when United are in possession. United want to overload the back line with the 2 wing-backs, but also their 8 is jumping into areas where you can receive passes in behind the defence, to finish off moves. And what I like about Matheus Cunha is he's got that patience to play the right pass. He's created 46 chances in the Premier League this season, again would rank him second in the Man United squad. So let's take a look at him against Fulham in zone 14. So we pick up the play with Wolves breaking into the Fulham half. We've got Matheus Cunha highlighted. What I like about this is he walks. He basically stops and gets into a brilliant pocket of space. All the good players do this. This is something that Messi does supremely well. At times he's walking around the pitch. He's waiting for the game to open up by himself. Matheus Cunha does that here perfectly. 8 Nouri's on the ball in possession. Cunha's in a massive amount of space. It's worked through Bellegarde, and then there we go. In between the Fulham lines. A really good first touch to once again open up the game. He's facing goal. This is a big thing for players in 3-4-2-1s. The number 10s have got to be good at this. Receiving on the half turn and then playing forward. The big thing that United don't do is create things from these situations, because at times the first touch isn't good enough and doesn't get them going forward straight away. But just from this position, we see Bassi get drawn in by a little bit of a feint, and the reverse pass is brilliant. We talk about that Bruno Fernandes attacking that kind of left channel from deep. João Gomez does it here, bursts past the Fulham defence and gives them the second crucial winning goal, all created by that brilliant Matheus Cunha pass from zone 14. And that is something that we could see at Manchester United. It means that it makes sense. Tactically, Bruno Fernandes, moving from that deep defensive midfield position into an advanced areas to finish off moves. Cunha, Fernandes, 2 good players will be able to play together at, of course, Old Trafford. So let's move on to the defensive side of Manchester United's game, the pressing, the aggression that we've not really seen under Ruben Amorim. We've only really seen it when Amad Diallo has played, hence why he's been so important. On the ball, off the ball, shooting, scoring, creating, but also defending. We all remember his 2 assists against Everton. The work rate of Amad Diallo, sensational. How I'd describe Matheus Cunha is he gives me that South American vibe, that street footballer vibe, that when players, let's say drop deep and get into his zone, he'll be super aggressive on them in that zone, look to turn the ball over and make something happen. Some coaches have mentioned that Matheus Cunha could provide a bit more in all aspects of his game. He could be even better. So this is an area that Ruben Amorim will work on with Matheus Cunha. But when he's defending, when he's active in the defensive area, he's really good. He ranks number 1 since the start of last season for shot creating actions, following a defensive action in the Premier League. And I tell you what, you may have missed this goal, but this was the 4th goal against Spurs in the Premier League recently. Matheus Cunha at the moment playing as the number 9 as Wolves have leading the game, and they're looking to see it out, playing him high as a striker. This is something he could do for Manchester United in the bigger matches with a lot more midfielders behind him. United could pack the midfield with ball winners and aggressive players and play Cunha as a bit of a false 9, allowing him to really be a kind of counter-attacking option. So Wolves are in their mid-block. They're instructed to sit off in their kind of 5-4-1 structure under Vitor Pereira. The ball gets played out around the back for Spurs and they drop it into midfield to Bergvall. As I mentioned previously, Cunha's not really been active yet in this defensive passage. He's standing, he's waiting for the right moment. But as soon as Bergvall gets into kind of his locality, Cunha gets on the ball, he gets active, wins a brilliant tackle in a key area, which leads a bit of a 50-50. He beats Ben Davies to the ball, drives through and then finishes really well. But that ability to become active means that there could be a real raw diamond from a defensive sense there. I've noticed him track back well, be aggressive in certain areas well, so it's definitely an area that he can improve, but some really good raw starting points. So overall, does Matheus Cunha's move to Manchester United make sense? Well, let's dive into the finances of the deal. The reports are that Matheus Cunha has a £62.5 million release clause. And taking wage into consideration, it's reported on Capology that Matheus Cunha earns around £90,000 per week, which means signing for Manchester United is not going to break their wage structure. But I think answering the question, the finances, again, 62 million is a lot, but you're getting a Premier League proof player that plays in a very similar system and has done it for a number of years now. I think this is a signing that works for Man United. It's a player that's approaching his prime. Just for reference, Mohamed Salah joined Liverpool at 25 years old. Matheus Cunha is also 25 years old. These types of players United need to build the team around. And yes, maybe he's not a star in a Champions League team or a star in a Premier League winning team yet. Again, 25 years old, approaching his prime, he could get to these levels. We've seen enough in the Premier League so far for him to really improve as a footballer under Ruben Amorim. But also when you're looking at the teams he's scored against, his favourite opponent is Chelsea. This means we're not signing just a flat track bully. United have really struggled. If you take take the teams out of the Premier League that have been relegated or going to be relegated, should I say. United ranked 17th. They need to be able to beat teams in all parts of the league. He's got a goal against Arsenal, a goal against Liverpool, and probably will score goals against Manchester City if given the chance. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments below, do you think Matheus Cunha is a good deal? £62 million isn't a bargain, but I think you're getting a real quality player that will instantly score goals and improve Manchester United. But anyway, guys, I'm in Statman Dave. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe and like the video. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, why not check out some more content on the Statman Dave YouTube channel?